Hello everyone. Today's video we'll be looking at expansion patterns. So our learning intention for today is that we will further explore different ways of expanding binomial factors. So moving to the first slide. So we have these problems here. So we have x plus 1 multiplied by x minus 1. Now if we recap, each bracket is a binomial factor, but there's a plus here and there's a minus here. So we'll expand as per usual. So FOIL, first outside, inside last. So first, here we got x times x, which is x squared. Then you got x times negative 1, which is negative x. Then you got inner, so 1 times x is positive x or plus x. And you have 1 multiplied by negative 1, which gives us minus 1. Now, after this, we have this expression. We will collect like terms. Minus x plus x is 0. So we're left with x squared minus 1, which is this expression here. Another one, so we just the same thing, just 2. So x times x is x squared. X times negative 2 is negative 2x. 2 times x is 2x. And 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Collecting like terms, once again, minus 2x plus 2x, so there's a minus and a plus, but the numbers are the same, they become 0. So what you're left with is this term and the back term, which is x squared minus 4. Another one, same deal, but just 3 instead of 2. So x times x is x squared. X times negative 3 is negative 3x. 3 times x is positive 3x. And 3 multiplied by negative 3 gives us negative 9. Now we're collecting the like terms, which are the ones in the middle here. Minus 3x plus 3x gives you 0. So you're left with x squared minus 9. And here you go. Last one, instead of 3, it is 4. You'll understand why in a minute. X times x is x squared. X times negative 4 is negative 4x. 4 times x is 4x. And 4 times negative 4 is negative 16. Collecting like terms, minus 4x plus 4x is 0. So left with x squared minus 16. Now, what do you notice about these 4 problems? Well, there's no middle term, obviously. And the letters, which is these letters here, the x's, are squared. And the numbers in the back are also squared. Okay? So this is what you call the difference of 2 squares. So if you're given a plus b, or bracket, times a minus b, we get a squared, take away b squared. But this takeaway only applies if the first bracket is a positive and the second bracket is a negative, or other way around, first one negative or the other one positive. Okay, now when you have 2 brackets next to each other, we know or we assume that that is multiplied. So we have this as the equation, or it can be written the other way around. A squared minus b squared equals a plus b bracket times a minus b bracket. So we'll be looking at this equation here the most. If you see it this way, it means exactly the same thing. So here's an example here, x plus 5 all bracket times x minus 5. So first thing we do, we write out our rule, which is this one here. And then we look at our rule says if it's in this formation, we can do this. So our A is our x, our B here is our 5, our A here is our x again, and our B is our 5. Generally, they are exactly the same letters here, 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 and here. So our A, which is our x, so we substitute that in. I substitute that with a bracket because we have not applied the squared as of yet. So x squared, our minus stays there. Open another bracket, and our B is our 5, here or here, it does not matter, which is a 5, and squared. So if you want to open the bracket, going back to our index laws, if it's x to the power 2, it is x times x, which gives us x squared. Our negative stays here, and 5 squared means 5 times 5, which is 25. Okay, so expanding that, instead of doing it all the long way, we can apply that rule and do it in 2 steps. Next one, a little bit harder. 2x plus 4 all times by 2x minus 4. So again, it is the same formation. One has a positive and the other bracket has a negative. A is our 2x plus, and our B is 4, and it's 4 here. So A squared would be 2x, all bracket squared. Then we have our minus, which is this rule here. And then we all bracket our B, which is our 4. So going down the next step, this practically means 2x times 2x, which is 2x times 2x, 2 times 2 is 4, and x squared, which is there. Our negative stays there, and our 4 times 4, which gives us 16, because 4 squared means 4 times 4, and that is 16. So our answer for this expansion is 4x squared, take away 16. Now, another one part of our binomial expansion is the square of binomial rule. And there is 2 parts to this, either or either. Okay, so it's either this one or this one. So sometimes you have a plus b all squared or a minus b all squared. The only difference is the a plus b all squared is a squared plus 2ab plus plus b squared, or a minus b squared equals a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. The difference here, if there's a plus here, this middle term is a positive. If there's a negative here, the middle term here is a negative. You must remember that. That's very important. Otherwise, you will get some questions incorrect. So, for example, here, expanding 2x all squared. So, x plus 2 all squared. My apologies. So, first off, we write out our rule. And then we work out our a and our b. Our a is our x. Our b is our 2. So, first off, a squared, which is going to be x squared, plus 2. This is part of the formula, the equation. So we keep it there. Our a again with x, I represent this multiplication as brackets. And then our b is our 2. I'll leave it there for now. And then plus b squared, which is 2 squared. This here is x squared, so I'll leave it there. This here, 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times x is just 4x. And then 2 squared is 2 times 2, and that gives us 4. So if we were to expand x plus 2 all squared, the answer is x squared plus 4x plus 4. And as always, we want to go a little bit harder. So 2x plus 4 all squared. Again, we write our rule out because that's a plus. So our middle term is a plus. Our a is our 2x. Our b is our 4. So a squared, 2x squared. 2 times a, which is our 2x. Please remember this. A is 2x, not just x. Or it's not just 2. Our b is our 4. So we put that there. Plus our b squared, which is our 4. So 4 squared. So now we are going to evaluate. Our 2x squared is 2x times 2x, which is 4x squared, plus 2 times 2x, which is 4x. Now 4x times 4, we can do it into 2 parts. So 4 times 4 is 16. And then we put the x back into it, which gives us 16x. And then our very last term, 4 squared, which is 4 times 4, which is 16. So expanding 2x plus 4 all squared gives us 4x squared plus 16x plus 16. Now, here's another different example where there is a negative. So x minus 5 all squared, we again write out our equation, but this time it's a negative. So a minus b all squared gives us a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. So we write out our actual question, which is x minus 5 all squared. So our a is our x, and our b is our 5. So a squared, x squared, minus, oh, I did something wrong here. So that's meant to be a negative there. So I'm going to go back and change it. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm just going to double check the other slide. Yep, I did that again. And that is very embarrassing. I do apologize, ladies and gents. All right, so A is our x, B is 5. So our A is x squared minus 2. Our A is our x. Our B is a 5 plus B squared, which is 5 squared. So now we're going to evaluate x squared. There you go. Our minus stays here. 2 times x, which is 2x. And then 2x times 5, which is 5 times 2. Just gives you 10. And you put the x at the end. Plus, and our 5 squared means 5 times 5. And that is 25. Moving on to one last example. 3x minus 2 all squared. So again, we have a negative. We're going to give the negative equation. We write that down, or our rule anyway. Our A is 3x and our B is 2. So A squared is our 3x. So 3x all squared minus 2, which comes from our formula. And our A is our 3x, as we stated. 3x there. Our B is our 2 plus, and B squared, which is 2 squared. Now we go back and we evaluate. So 3x squared is 3x times 3x. That is actually 9x squared. My apologies once again. I should actually double check my work, shouldn't I? So 3x squared is 3x times 3x, which gives us 9x squared minus 2 times 3 is 6 times 2 is 12, and our x, we put it next to each other as we are multiplying it together. Then our plus, and 2 times 2 is 2 squared, and that gives us 4. So 3x squared minus 2 all squared gives us 9x squared minus 12x plus 4. So that is that. And if you like that or learn something from that, please remember to like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video.